Hello, and welcome to your description of the test assignments. So let's just get right into it. You're going to write two multiple choice tests. You don't take them like a regular test. You're creating your own questions. Some people may ask, why the heck would I do this? I've been giving this assignment for a long time now, and I found that it's a really good way for you to sort of have to wallow around in the material for a while. I'm not a believer in objective tests in which you memorize some facts that you think are going to appear on the test and then regurgitate them in a point and click sort of way, and then you forget them right afterwards. So this is a way for you to have to think about the material a little bit differently. Believe me, I've made a lot of multiple choice tests. They are not easy to do, and you really have to know the material. However, it's not an easy assignment. I will say that I have scaled back this assignment to make it more doable so that students can be more successful more frequently in it. And I'll describe how I've scaled that back a little bit as we go through the description of the assignment. So, first of all, as I probably have mentioned before in other assignments, and I will do again, please attach either a Word or PDF. Do not send me any other kind of documents. If you're taking any other online classes or if you're just sending documents out into the world, I honestly don't know why anyone would send anything besides a Word or PDF. It is becoming easier to read different kind of files, but we're still not there yet. I frequently get documents that I cannot open from students, and it makes the test, I can't grade it, and it makes things impossible. Most importantly, do not send me any links. Although I'm sure you're proficient at Google Docs and all those kind of stupid things, but most of the time I simply can't open them because the student that sent them did not give me permission. Never fails. So please do not send me any links. So what you're going to do is create a multiple choice test for the course material that has been presented to you this is for the first test, from the beginning of the test until the week that the test is due. So if our test is due on week 4, all the material that was covered on week 4 is to be included on that test. So for each week, you're going to create 5 questions. So if the test is on week 4, you're going to create 20 questions. 5 questions for each week. This is a way that I've scaled this back a bit. I used to, as early as very recently, I had students create 1 question per every reading or viewing assignment. Many students thrived and they thought it was a great challenge and they loved it, but a lot of students were overwhelmed by it. Quite honestly, I think it was simply them assuming that they couldn't do it and they just gave up. Well, I don't want to put anybody in that situation, so I'm asking for 5 questions from the material. However, this doesn't mean you're only reading or watching 5 of the videos or reading assignments. It means that you're going to include, it's a multiple choice test, so there's a way to include information from multiple reading and viewing assignments through your wrong answers. So you're going to create 5 questions for each week's content. You have to represent as much course material as possible via your wrong answers. And that'll make sense when we look at this stuff down below. 1 question can cover more than 1 reading or viewing assignment. As a matter of fact, it will. But these do require more effort, and they indicate a more thorough understanding of the material too. Multiple choice answers should pose a real quandary in an attempt to select the correct answer. So your question should be hard. That's all there is to it. Test 2 is exactly the same as this, except it's for the material from after test 1 is 2 until the end. So, most important part of this description of the assignment. These are requirements for both tests. Questions that do not follow these requirements will not earn any points. So, if there's 20 questions, then I deduct that number evenly divided by 100, and if the question doesn't do that, then you don't get that question right. In addition to the written work guidelines that I've talked about before. So, very important. All your possible right and wrong answers should come from course material. Believe me, I love sarcasm more than anybody else, and a lot of times students create cheeky responses or whatever that make me chuckle, but all your right and wrong answers come from the course material. You let me know what the right answer is. Please put in bold or caps or some way indicate which answer is the correct one. I need to know that you know what the right answer is. So each question will have at least 4 possible responses. You're going to create a question and then A, B, C, or D for options. Very important. None of these A, B, C, Ds can be all of the above or A and B or any of that kind of stuff. The easiest way to think about this is you are creating 1 right answer and 3 wrong answers. So that also means you're not going to include any version of all of the above or which is not a characteristic of blank. Just remember, let me repeat that numerous times and let that sink in. And I know it sounds like I'm beating you over the head with this and being kind of condescending about it, but many of you will create these kind of answers. If history proves itself accurate, I will get many of these kind of questions, and people just don't understand why they didn't make 100, because they didn't simply do this: 1 right answer and 3 wrong answers. So that means no all of the above. It means no all of the above except, and this is the newest one I'm getting so many of, which is not blank, 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 blank. And then that means from 1 reading assignment, you give me 3 answers that came from only that 1 reading or viewing assignment and 1 answer that is not from that. So you're creating 1 right answer that came from the reading or viewing assignment, and then 3 wrong answers that came from another reading or viewing assignment. The best test is going to cover the most material, and this is the only way to do that. Here's another big important way to think about it. The multiple choice tests are my only way to confirm that you are reading and viewing and listening to all the material. This test is your opportunity to do that. So, no, at the end of the day, you are probably not going to be there. It is possible that you are not going to be able to represent every single reading and viewing assignment in each test, but you need to do your darndest to try to do that. Okay? So that is very important. What the kind of questions we're going to create. This is equally, if not more important. A simple factual question does not indicate that you have absorbed this material. So I'm looking to know, not only did you read it, but you put some thought into it and you absorbed it. It became part of your body of knowledge. A simple question of, which playwright wrote Raisin in the Sun? And you give me a bunch of different answers, and Lorraine Hansberry is there. That tells me nothing. That tells me you opened the assignment and looked at it. That's all it tells me. And that kind of question is not going to earn any credit. What I'm looking for is a theoretical question. Don't let this word theoretical make your head explode. I've had many students and many angst-ridden emails. I'm not sure if I'm doing the right because I don't know what theoretical is. I don't know the difference between theory and fact. Well, a fact is simply one possible response. A theoretical question is a question that only you can create. It's a question of what do you think about this material? So let's look at this. For example, instead of a simple question that addresses only one fact of an assignment, is not going to earn, is going to grade, what am I saying here? Yeah, you can read that. Creating a theoretical is not as hard as it seems. The trick is to think about what is the point and the main issue that each reading and viewing assignment covers. Why did I assign this? What does each reading and viewing assignment say about what makes theater, what does it say about the theater as an art form? Quite honestly, what the main thing I'm trying to do is avoiding simple questions that anybody could have answered just by opening the assignment. So don't stress over this too much. If your questions are difficult, ask yourself after you create each questions, and you're really not creating that many, especially now that I used to assign one for every reading assignment and viewing assignment. You're only creating 5 per week. So after you create each question, ask yourself, now, would it require someone to read or view the entire assignment to be able to answer this question? If your answer is yes, then that's a good question. Look at your question and say, okay, could somebody have answered this question if they had just skimmed it, or if they have just looked it over briefly? And if they could, then that's probably not the best question. So, here's how I'm not going to go over this because I've done it before. And you can obviously read this. So an A test is this, B test, C test, F test. And there are the additional point deductions of questions that do not follow the guidelines, and that's just points taken right off. This assignment, it's not easy. It shouldn't be really any more difficult than taking a multiple choice test because you're not having to guess what's going to be on the test or whatever. I mean, this is an online test, an online class. I know you would open the test and you always have the material to refer back to while you're taking the test. I mean, any instructor who gives a test that's not an open book test in an online class is an idiot. But this way, it allows you to respond to the material. The questions that you create should be the ones that you think are the most important reading and viewing assignments that we did from each week. So that's the description of the test. If you see anywhere, there's a lot of stuff in this class for me to update, and I've changed a couple of the assignments this term to help you be more successful, hopefully. And so if you see any references anywhere to creating one question per each reading and viewing assignment, then ignore it. You're creating 5 questions per week, and that is all. Each question has 4 responses, 1 correct and 3 incorrect, and all 4 of those responses come from course material. The questions should require you to read or view the entire assignment and to really think about it before you could answer those questions. If you're doing all that stuff, you're going to make an easy A. So that's the test. Good luck.